Hello, and welcome to 2024. If you're listening to this as it comes out, I'm so excited because this is the first episode of 2024, and that's just so thrilling to me. And we also have some new listeners, actually, like quite a few, so how exciting. And my name is Belle. I'm the host of the Inspired Lady podcast, and this is just going to be a good time. We're working towards living an abundant life, a life that we are proud of, that glorifies God, and ultimately has the best habits that are serving us instead of us trying to fit into a box for our habits. Okay. So with that kind of a lens of creating routines and protocols that work for the lifestyle that we either currently live or want to live, we're going to be relooking at the nighttime routine today. Okay. And I'm really excited about this because whatever we do during the day actually starts the night before. And that's how we set ourselves up for success. So I figured coming into the new year, it's a really good time to relook at routines and try to cultivate and really curate a new one that serves us to the best of our abilities. And that's what we're doing tonight with the nighttime routine. So let's jump in. Today we have a leftover peppermint coffee because it is just newly out of the Christmas season. And I had peppermint creamer still, so we're just rolling with it. I literally am the person, I kid you not, it was Christmas Day, probably about 1 p.m, and I was taking down all the Christmas decorations. I am that person, 1000%. I cannot stand not having my house put back together for the day after Christmas. It doesn't go for me. I have to have everything put back ASAP. I have to be able to jump into, the new year. And I think for me, like I've said this before, Christmas is so magical and I love it and everything, but I really love New Year's. I love New Year's. So everything was torn down and put back. Okay. But for my Christmas gift this year, I told Matt, I was like, I really don't want any like tangible item. I just want to do something really fun. So the man literally planned the most fun trip to Colorado for me. Totally a surprise. I had no idea until last week where we were going, what we were doing, anything. I just knew we were going somewhere fun. So he planned out this whole trip to Colorado. So as this podcast is releasing, I'm actually in Colorado right now on my New Year's trip. Okay. And how freaking fun that I get to go on a New Year's trip. I just feel so blessed that Matt is such a sweetie, and that's what he chose to do for me. So we are going to Colorado. We are hitting all of the major hiking spots. We're going to do lots of hiking. We're going skiing. It's going to be Matt's first time skiing, and I'm so excited for him. I think he's going to like it. And I grew up skiing with my family, so it's going to be good to be back on the hills. I'm so ready. I haven't skied in a few years just because we've been doing other things. So we're going skiing, we're going snowmobiling, which is going to be super fun. We're doing that through whatever mountain range, or I forget. I don't know. I wasn't a part of any of the planning, so I really don't know. But we're going to be just having the best time ever. And so we will be out of here. New Year's Day I think that's right. New Year's Eve, maybe. No, we leave New Year's Eve. So we will be out of here at New Year's Eve. And heading up to Colorado, where we're going to have like such a fun little date night. We're decided to take a long route there. So we're going to go through New Mexico and see some of the pretty roads. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm just so ready for this trip. And I have decided that my entire wardrobe actually looks like I live in the mountains. I live in Colorado. I'm very much so chunky sneaker, either like the straight leg jeans or leggings with the tall socks, whatever side you want to be on for that, that's me. But it's okay. I'm just so ready. So it's going to be really, really fun and just such a good adventure. We haven't been on a trip, in a few months. And for us, that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that the last trip we took together was back in like May, I think. Yeah, when we got back from Alaska. So anyways, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It's a long time coming. But that is all a side note because we're not here to talk about Colorado. No. We are here to talk about just the reset that comes with New Year and bettering ourselves and the routines that we can build out. I have really just been embracing the idea that, sometimes we try really hard to fit into a box of, okay, well, this is what I think I should be doing. and we force ourselves into habits and routines that don't actually benefit us and don't actually serve us at all because we see other people doing it or because we hear that, that might be healthy, but maybe not necessarily for you or for your season of life currently. Okay. So you really have to look at what you want this quarter of your life to look like, this season of your life, whatever time frame, and what routines are going to get you to your goals instead of just kind of having this overall I think I should be doing this, because that's not actually going to help you achieve it. Okay. So you start with like kind of what you want to see happen, and then you work your way backwards into what routines need to consist of. Okay. So we just went through all of the vision casting, the goal setting, the habits that stick, all of that just happened on the podcast. So if you haven't listened, go back and listen to those, because those will kind of help you really shape those big picture ideas and then those habits of how to keep the habits that are sticking. And now we're actually getting into what those habits are. Okay. So it's all kind of building up. And this is just a really cool area to work in for the nighttime routine, because the nighttime routine, I feel like, can really be pretty flexible for you. Because for me, in my opinion at least, I have more control over my nights than I do necessarily my mornings, because I have meetings that pop up all the time. I usually do early morning appointments whenever I need to do like a doctor or anything like that. So my nighttime is a little bit more flexible for me to fill it with things that I can add and remove quickly. Okay. So what all are we going through? We're just going to go through some tips and tricks originally, and then kind of what a healthy nighttime routine could look like. But again, this has to be customizable to you and who you are. Okay. This is not something that's one size fit all. Oh, you see this nighttime routine, that exact one is going to serve you, because we all have different routines. We all go to bed at different times. Okay. We all choose to either lay out outfits, or maybe we're shift workers and we have to be up at weird hours. Like, you know what I mean? Or maybe like you have a very specific skincare regimen that has to go for 45 minutes. Like everybody's going to do different things, but it's a matter of making sure it's the correct things for you. Okay. We're filling our time with things that serve us rather than trying to serve our time with things that don't actually make sense. Okay. So I just gave my little spiel. So the best day always starts the night before. So for me, I can tell you what kind of day I'm going to have based on the evening before. And not that you can't turn things around or anything, but when I wake up and I haven't done a quick tidy up of the house, or my outfit's not picked out and laid out, or I don't have, whatever my morning beverage is ready to go, I already know that I'm kind of setting myself up to do more work in the morning, which I've already just told you. To me, my mornings are a lot more like clockwork, and there's a lot less flexibility for me. So I know that if I don't take the steps the night before to start bettering my next day, I'm going to feel it the next day, and I'm not going to be as productive. I'm not going to be as creative, and I'm ultimately just not going to be the full abundant version of myself if I'm not stepping into that. Okay. So, for me, my nighttime routine, I'll give you guys times, but I don't want you to hold these times to what you think you should be doing. Okay. It usually starts around 7:30 or 8. Okay. That's when I really try hard to start thinking towards unwinding, what I'm prepping for the next day, all of that, and making sure that I'm trying to really rest myself, because I work really long hours. I am usually pretty burnt out at the end of the day if I am not careful to watch that with breaks. So I know that my time at night has to be really intentional towards rest. So I try really hard to make sure that I'm not eating 2 hours before bed. This doesn't always work because Matt works really long hours and sometimes doesn't come home until 9, 10 o'clock at night at his job. So with that being said, it's a little bit more challenging. But those are just one of those things that you roll with. And there are times where I want to eat with him and stuff, but I've had to shift my habit to maybe not always eating dinner with him, or, just kind of making the dinner earlier and then eating before he gets there, and then having him eat and just kind of sitting with him, because I find that that's good bonding time for couples or partners to really be able to hang out with each other. And so I don't know. I just think that eating 2 hours before bed, though, really helps your digestive system. And I think that the scientists that oh gosh, what is his name? I was listening to a guy give a TED talk the other day, and he was talking about how, really, you don't really want to be eating anywhere near bed because your body is not then able to focus on rest. It's really just focusing at that point on digesting food. I think it was Andrew Huberman. But all that being said, try really hard to eat the last meal or snack or whatever 2 hours before bed. And then what I will make, because sometimes I have like a craving or something, is a glass of lemon water. Maybe I'll add a tea bag, depending, maybe spearmint or a lemon balm or something. And then with raw local honey. So I like to do the raw local honey because it keeps me. This is gonna sound stupid, and this is where I may be getting a little holistic, which we're gonna talk about later. But I'm really leaning into this. It allows you to be more, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. I'm just going to say it. Centered with the environment around you, because when you're eating, or I guess in this case, drinking local honey, you're able to kind of connect with all of the nature around your area. And why that's important is for the springtime specifically, or whatever time you face allergies that are really bad, that honey was harvested locally. So that means it's from the bees that pollinated all of the nature around your area. So if you're consuming that raw local honey, it's going to help you be able to just balance out and really be grounded with your area. And it's supposed to be amazing for allergies. And I've just started doing this. I don't get super bad allergies in the fall. So I'm really excited to see how this works in the spring, if I notice a difference. But that's something I've been kind of learning more about, and I'm really excited about it. And that's been a big focus for me. So, anyways, I will make a hot glass of water, and then either lemon, maybe some spearmint, whatever, with that honey in it. Okay. So that'll be kind of my food side of the evening ritual. And then usually at this point, I will turn on a movie or a show, and especially a documentary. If Matt's not with me, Matt doesn't like documentaries, but I will watch all the documentaries. So I will turn on my documentary and sit there and kind of just enjoy maybe scrolling on Pinterest at night. I try to stay off of scrolling social media like TikTok, Instagram, all of that if I can, just because I find that that kind of content, that kind of consumption, it doesn't really help me. It doesn't really benefit me at that time. And in fact, it kind of just causes me to, I don't know, doom scroll for a little bit or whatever. So I'm getting better at focusing on Pinterest at that time, because Pinterest is a place that I just always find inspiration. It always kind of helps me get good ideas flowing. I just feel more rejuvenated after I spend time on Pinterest than I do any other of the social apps. So I'll focus on Pinterest. Maybe I'll do some coloring. I like Sudoku. I like to play solitaire a lot. And I'll do all this while the movie's on and just kind of get to chill a little bit. And I make sure that that time is carved out. I try to have that 2 hours of that. So I'll eat my last meal and then have 2 hours of just being able to kind of sit if possible. So all of this has started around 6. So then this is where we get to that 8 o'clock start time usually for the nighttime routine. That's a little bit more vigorous. Okay. So that's kind of the evening side of it. And then as soon as that's done, my phone automatically goes on a like the highest do not disturb setting at 8 o'clock at night. Okay. This means that really only Matt can break this do not disturb, because to me, if I was sleeping, I wouldn't be answering my phone anyways. And so I keep that on pretty high. And the only way that I'll happen to see something is if the screen lights up. So that's on pretty intense do not disturb. I'm not getting any messages. I'm completely just disconnected from email specifically, because that's easy for me to get roped into, answering emails at 9-10 o'clock at night. So all of that goes on, and I try really hard to just get off of the phone in general at least by 8:30. Okay, so I will go plug in my phone and just have it up, away, out of my sight. I'm not on it at all, and I'm trying to unwind from blue light at this point. So this will happen between 8:30 and 9 for me, and just not having the blue light just spike my cortisol levels or whatever notifications are popping up. Even a show. I mean, shows are meant to be addictive. They're meant to keep you roped in. They're meant to make you feel like, oh, just one more is easy. And then a movie can, sometimes give you like anxiety, stress, or sadness, like it's meant to invoke emotion. So I try to kind of check out of all of those things when I can, again, around 8:30 and 9. And so then this is where we do my 15-minute segments, okay? So I have 15-minute segments. My first one is a 15-minute cleanup. Okay. This just is so important. Even if you're not someone who's type A, even if you're not someone who would classify yourself as like a clean freak, whatever, your space really does reflect who you are and where your brain is at. Okay. So I can tell when I am overwhelmed or maybe going through a little bout of anxiety, whatever. I don't take the time to clean up my space, to care for it as I should always. And so, to help with that, if you do 15-minute segments of quick cleaning or just like tidying up, it makes that a lot more just bearable to wake up and not already feel that overconsumption, that overwhelmed feeling of just being surrounded by things that you know are out of place, surrounded by things that you know you need to take care of, but you don't have the energy to take care of in that moment. Okay. So I will do a quick cleanup. I usually try to make sure there's no dishes in the sink. I will do like making sure that all of the chairs are pushed in around the dining room table, the blankets are folded, the pillows are straight on the couch, just little things that I can do to make sure when I get up and I open our bedroom door, it's peaceful out there and it doesn't feel chaotic. So a quick 15 minutes to just clean up. And then I go into 15 minutes of like oral care and skincare. So this is brushing my teeth whitener if it's that in that scheduled day, because I schedule out when I'm going to whiten my teeth. And then also the skincare side of things. So I will double cleanse. And then depending on what day it is, it's either going to be toner and serums, or it's going to be toner with the red light wand, or it's going to be a like a moisturizing night mask where I put on a thick layer of moisturizing creams and then sleep with that on. So that way my skin is really, really moisturized. So depending on what day it is, depends on what kind of skincare I'm doing. But I will do that in my 15-minute segment. And then the final 15-minute segment, I'll change into my PJs. I will go and kind of, I'm going to say maybe like prep the room to go to sleep. So we only have red lights in our bedroom. Okay. The lamps have red lights. The floor lamps, all the lights in our bedroom are red. So this means that it's really helpful because it doesn't spike cortisol. You're not having to deal with the overhead bright lights, anything like that. And we even have a red night light in our bathroom too. So when we wake up and have to go to the bathroom at night, we're not dealing with the bright lights. It's still just a subtle red. Okay. This is a super cheap, easy thing to do. You can get like a 5-pack on Amazon for like $7 of red light bulbs and just go through your bedroom and change them out. So we do that, and I will go turn on the red lights. I will turn on the fan because it's better to sleep in cooler temperatures. So even in the winter, we sleep with a fan on because it helps your body reach a homeostasis within itself where it can begin to relax and then regenerate. Okay, that's your skin cells. It's going to, if it has food to digest, it's going to be able to digest the food better. All of that. It's just better to sleep in a cooler temperature. So I will turn the fan on and then I rotate. I will either do a air purifier. So we have an air purifier in our room, which helps just kind of clean the air and make sure we're breathing in air that isn't contaminated with a lot of dust particles or other microbiomes that are just harmful to us and bacteria. So I'll turn on the air purifier or I will turn on the humidifier. I don't have them run at the same time, but the humidifier helps add moisture back into the air, especially in the winter. It can get really dry. And then when you're breathing, if you ever wake up with that scratchy throat or cracked lips, usually the air is pretty dry around you in the winter. So you're going to be able to kind of help that out with putting a humidifier on. And if you have a diffuser at home, that can act as a similar thing. So one of those are going to go on. And then I will do like some gua sha at night. So that's going to be your little stone where you just like kind of put it on your face, and it really helps like just define the skin better. I usually like the ice roller, but at night it's too harsh, so I won't ice roll at night. So I do the gua sha at night instead. And then the phone gets plugged in across the room, away from me, nowhere near me. And I will also at this point take my vitamins. I take all vitamins and supplements besides like protein powder at night because sometimes vitamin D just, it will like kind of hurt my stomach a little bit if I'm not careful. And it just doesn't always feel great during the day. So I take it at night so that way I don't have to deal with any of that. And I usually sleep through my body working through that. And then I do this really fun thing with my husband every single night. So when we go to bed, we each have to say something that we are grateful for from the other person that day. I really wanted to start like being more grateful throughout my day, adding more practices. And I just felt like in our relationship, it would be healthy for us to go through what we're grateful for, and that we notice the other person doing. Because there's so many things when you're married or in a long-term relationship that the other person does for you that either just become very mundane and you don't even notice it anymore, or that maybe went unthanked, and that can build resentment. So every single night we each have to say something that we saw the other person do that we were grateful for. So like my my love language is acts of service, and his is kind of a mix of things, but either way, I then get that moment to call him out and say like, "Hey, I saw you like loaded your dishes today," or whatever it was. Sometimes it's super small, and sometimes there were really big gestures, and you can take the time to re-thank them for that, and just make sure that they feel seen throughout the day. I love when Matt, calls out something that he saw me do and he's like, that was amazing. That was so special. So taking time to be grateful right before bed is really important, whether that's with a partner, maybe a gratefulness journal, or even just like spoken, like saying 3 things that you were grateful for the day. And then we pray together, just going over all the things that we are grateful for to God, but also then just things that are heavy on our hearts for our friends, our family, whatever that is. And that's just a really good time for us to kind of do one last little connect before bed and get to hang out with each other for a minute. And then at this point, Matt falls asleep in like 2 seconds. I'm not that person. If you can fall asleep in 2 seconds, good for you. Not me, man. So I will turn the Kindle on dark mode, and I will turn off all the lights. It's really subtle on my eyes. This is why I love the Kindle so much, because I don't have to have the lights on while I read. So amazing. So anyways, love that so much. And I will read basically until I fall asleep. I don't like have a set number of chapters or anything. Until my eyelids start to feel heavy, I will read. And then as soon as they get heavy, I go to bed. So as you can see, there's a lot of room for flexibility. I have my non-negotiables in that. I know that even when we're traveling, even when we're doing crazy things, I will always take 10, 15 minutes to do my skincare and oral care. And I will always do my prayer and gratefuls with Matt, even if that's over the phone. And I will always read my Kindle on dark mode until I sleep. So that's whether I'm traveling, whether I am having a chaotic day, whether guests are here, whatever. Those 3 things are non-negotiables. They're gonna happen every single night. But everything else is a little bit more fluid, a little bit more flexible, but I'm making sure I'm set up for the next day. And throughout that, I've taken my supplements, I have taken the time to clean up out in the main part of the house, and then the week I lay out my outfits for the entire week. So that's already done, but maybe that's something you could add, is adding that in, making sure your alarm is set for the next morning, and just verifying that. Also verifying all your doors are locked. There's just so many small habits that you might want to add in, and whatever serves you best, whatever makes you be able to do what you need to do to the best of your ability. That's the entire goal of your nighttime routine. But when you're creating your nighttime routine, when you're starting to curate it, just remember that it's the first part of your next day. So what do you want your days to be filled with? And how can you set yourself up for success the night before? That's the entire goal of the nighttime routine. That's what you're ultimately doing. And whether that is resting so you're refueled for the next day, or that is maybe getting in a workout because your mornings are too chaotic and you know that in order to feel good about yourself the next day and have those endorphins running, you need to get your workout in. Whatever it is, it's so customizable for you individually, but also for your season right now. Routines are meant to change. They're meant to adapt and evolve as you grow and as things change in your life. You're not always going to have as much time as you have now, or as little time as you have now. And you're not always going to be in the position that you're currently in. So create a routine for this moment. Do that to the best of your ability, but don't hold yourself to it for the rest of your life. Allow it to evolve and change with your circumstances and with you as a person, with your goals, with where you're at. All of that is just going to be so crucial for building out a nighttime routine that does set yourself up for success. So I hope it was helpful to hear some examples to kind of work through what a nighttime routine could consist of. And I'm just so excited to see all of the amazingness that comes from 2024 for you. Okay. I love you like crazy. And I'll see you next week as we go over just a few more little things that will be really, really helpful and beneficial in the long run.